There is a mystery older than the pyramids, older than the dynasties, and older than the very idea of Egypt itself. A mystery buried not just beneath the sands of Saqqara, but beneath layers of silence, erasure, and deliberate forgetting. It centers around a ruler whose existence the ancient priesthood tried to erase so completely that not a single monument, inscription, or official record was allowed to survive. A ruler the Egyptians feared, praised, and buried in secrecy. They did not call him Nama, nor Menes, nor any of the names we associate with Egypt's earliest kings. They called him only the First Pharaoh, a title spoken in whispers and forbidden to be written. And the only reason we know he existed at all is because of one chamber, one sealed room hidden beneath a forgotten structure west of Saqqara, discovered accidentally in 1954 and buried again almost instantly. A room that was never meant to be opened, because what lay inside it had the power to rewrite the origins of one of the greatest civilizations in history. The discovery began when an unregistered archaeological team investigating a ruined mastaba structure detected an unusual void far beneath the surface. Unlike normal burial shafts or chambers of the early dynastic period, this one was perfectly square, with walls that reflected seismic pulses as if they were made from a different type of stone. As the probe descended, its light revealed a massive stone door blocking the entrance. The door was covered in symbols resembling hieroglyphs, yet noticeably older, more primitive, and carved in a style that suggested they belonged to a writing system predating known Egyptian script. At the center of the door was the image of a tall, slender man wearing a radiant crown with extended points, unlike any crown worn by the pharaohs of later dynasties. The archaeology team realized they had uncovered a structure belonging to an unknown ruler. When the stone door was opened, the room inside appeared untouched by time. The air was stale but clean. The walls were smooth, perfectly cut, and decorated with symbols representing constellations that no longer matched the night sky above Egypt. The chamber floor held 7 stone tablets arranged in a circular formation. Each tablet contained inscriptions mixing archaic Egyptian symbols with characters never identified in any known writing system. The crowned figure appeared repeatedly on the tablets, always accompanied by the same phrase: "The one who ruled before light." Most interpretations suggest this phrase was metaphorical, referencing a prototype king who reigned before the beginning of Egypt's solar calendar. But a more radical interpretation soon emerged among the team, that the first pharaoh belonged to a time before the sun cycle recognized in Egyptian cosmology, a time before the first dawn, described in ancient myth, perhaps even a time predating the cataclysms believed to have struck the earth over 12,000 years ago. At the center of the chamber stood a black obsidian box sealed with a hardened resin. The surface of the box emitted a faint vibration, a subtle rhythmic pulse, almost like a heartbeat. No tomb in Egypt had ever featured such a container. When the seal was broken and the box finally opened, the archaeologists stepped back in astonishment. Inside was a preserved body wrapped, not in linen, but in a fabric woven with gold filaments, finer than anything produced in the early dynastic period. The body was elongated, with a narrow jaw, high cheekbones, and eye sockets deeper than any typical Egyptian mummy. His skull was slightly longer than normal, though not in the exaggerated way of artificial cranial binding seen in some later cultures. He looked human yet different, ancient, powerful. His bones were dense, his clothing unfamiliar, and beside his body lay a crown. Not a white crown of Upper Egypt or the red crown of Lower Egypt, not the double crown known as the Piacente. This crown was something else entirely, forged from a dark metal flecked with gold and blue, polished enough to reflect light even after millennia. The design featured radiant points that fanned out like the rays of the sun. It looked ceremonial, symbolic, and impossibly old. No one on the team could identify the metal used to craft it. Some claimed it was meteoric iron. Others believed it was a type of alloy never used again in Egypt's long history. The moment this artifact was uncovered, the tone of the entire excavation changed. What should have been a monumental discovery became something dangerous, something the Egyptian authorities wanted to conceal immediately. Before the find could be reported, officials intervened. The site was sealed, the archaeologists removed, and all documentation, including photographs, sketches, and notes, was confiscated. The official announcement later claimed the chamber contained no significant artifacts, but members of the team knew that was untrue. One of them, Dr. Howard Klein, later wrote a private letter stating that the site had been designated C1P, internally censored Site 1, Pharaoh. In his letter, he explained that acknowledging a pre-dynastic, technologically advanced ruler would challenge the entire narrative of Egyptian history. It would imply that Egypt did not rise gradually, but suddenly fully formed, with writing, mathematics, and architectural knowledge inherited from an earlier source. The existence of the first pharaoh suggested not evolution, but transmission. A handoff from a lost civilization to the culture we now call Ancient Egypt. Years later, a single sketch from the chamber reappeared, showing the crowned figure carved onto the tablets. Researchers were stunned. The crown looked shockingly similar to depictions in ancient Sumerian myths, the radiant headdress of Utu, the sun god. It resembled crowns seen in the Indus Valley and even in the Andean highlands. Civilizations thousands of miles apart, sharing a symbol they should never have known about. A symbol found buried in a sealed Egyptian chamber. This led some researchers to argue that the first pharaoh was not simply a king, but a figure shared across cultures. Survivor from an older world, a bearer of knowledge passed from a lost civilization into the early cultures of the post-cataclysmic world. More evidence emerged in 1998, when deep seismic scans of the Saqqara plateau revealed that the chamber was one of 7 hidden rooms connected in a star-shaped formation. This arrangement did not match Egyptian architectural norms. Instead, it aligned with a star map representing the sky as it appeared 12,000 years ago, before the last glacial meltdown, before the Sahara transformed into a desert, before most early civilizations emerged. One chamber emitted an unusual thermal signature, suggesting a metallic object or source of retained energy. Others appeared completely sealed, untouched since antiquity. If each chamber corresponds to a phase in the life or reign of the first pharaoh, the complex may hold an entire hidden history of pre-dynastic Egypt knowledge deliberately concealed from the world. The implications are staggering. If the first pharaoh existed more than 12,000 years ago, he may have been a survivor of a civilization destroyed by global catastrophe. Myths around the world, from Sumer to the Andes to the Aboriginal Dreamtime, all describe a great flood, a fall of fire, or a time when the world was remade. The Egyptians called it Zep Tepi, the first time. Most scholars view Zep Tepi as mythology, a symbolic beginning, but the chamber suggests Zep Tepi may have been a historical memory, a record of a real age of kings who ruled long before recorded history. And if the first pharaoh belonged to that age, his chamber may be the oldest intact royal vault on earth. Egypt's sudden explosion of knowledge, their mastery of stone, their astronomical precision, their advanced mathematics all may have been inherited. The dynastic pharaohs may not have invented Egypt, they may have inherited it. And the first pharaoh may have been the last remnant of the civilization that built the foundations of humanity's early world. For decades, Egypt has refused to reopen the chamber. Officially, work cannot resume due to structural instability. Unofficially, many believe the chamber is being kept buried because its contents threaten the established timeline. But the sands shift, the earth moves, and the truth cannot stay hidden forever. One day, the chamber may open again. One day, the crown of the first pharaoh may be revealed to the world. And when it is, it will not just change Egyptian history, it will change the story of civilization itself. The chamber of the first pharaoh was never meant to be entered because it holds the story of the world before our world. The story Egypt was never ready to reveal, but one that the sands can no longer keep buried.